Divine praise. We chant the pranam mantra, seek blessings from our acharyas, our guru, and then finally the lordships. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swarupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapandantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Guru Namaishnavancha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadhuetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanscha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiltam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Hare Krishna. No, I'm fine. I'll use this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I have seen you for the first time. What's your good name? Oh. Mani Pahani Das. And thank you. Yeah, welcome to Auckland Temple. Thank you. So yeah, thank you and welcome to everybody. You're sitting very far. You have problems with your knees, Prabhu, or your back. If you have, then that's fine. Yeah. One day, Gurudev was mentioning that one day they organized program for my Gurudev is Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So they organized program for Srila Prabhupada. Only 4 people turned up. It was a big program. Only 4 turned up. So Gurudev and the God brothers were thinking, oh, Prabhupada will be very angry with us. Only 4 people turned up. So they went to Srila Prabhupada and told him, Srila Prabhupada, only 4 people turned up. We are very sorry. Prabhupada said, didn't you see there were so many people there in the hall? No, Prabhupada, only we saw 4. Didn't you see Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the devatas there? No, we didn't see. No. Prabhupada said, even if no one turns up, you preach to the wall. You just speak. Because there are so many living entities we can't see, and they will be, hearing this Bhagavad Katha. Wherever there is Bhagavad Katha, all the demigods are there. Yeah, so first we'll read from Srila Prabhupada's Lila Amrita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All right, so I'll continue from the chapter titled Our Master Has Not Finished His Work, page 672. Sattva Sarupa Maharaj is speaking. Swamiji said we should pray to Lord Nrsimha, and the prayer should be, my master has not finished his work. At different times, he would allow us to take turns and massage different parts of his body. Then he had us go downstairs and hold kirtan through the night. That means Srila Prabhupada's health is not good. Maybe he's lying in the bed, and his disciples are taking care of him very nicely. Jadurani speaking. He taught us the prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev. He said the words one by one, and I wrote them down. I called up the temples in San Francisco and Montreal and told them the prayer. Swamiji said, you should pray to Krishna that my spiritual master has not yet completed his work. So please let him finish. That's Prabhupada's word. He told his disciples to pray like that. Damodar Prabhu. I went into the temple. No one was downstairs. So I just sat down to chant some rounds. Then a devotee came down looking very disturbed. So I asked what was going on. When he told me, I rushed upstairs. Everyone was sitting around in the second room where they could see into Swamiji's room through the window in the wall. They were all chanting on their beads. Jadurani was handing out little slips of paper with writing on them. Swamiji, she explained, wanted us to chant these prayers. Brahmananda. We brought the painting of Lord Nrsimha into Swamiji's room, and we were all chanting. When Swamiji had to use the bad pen in front of Lord Nrsimha's painting, he begged forgiveness of Lord Nrsimha. He could understand that Lord Nrsimha was sitting right in front of him. I saw it as a painting, but Swamiji saw it as Lord Nrsimha himself sitting there. It was getting worse, total weakness and everything. I couldn't get a doctor because it was Memorial Day and everything was closed. I even called my family doctor, but he wasn't in. Everyone had gone on vacation because of because on Memorial Day, everyone leaves the city. I couldn't get anyone. I was calling hospitals, doctors, trying this and that, but I couldn't get anyone. Finally, I got a doctor by calling an emergency number for the New York City Medical Department. So, you know, Prabhupada is somewhere in New York. The doctor came. He was an old, oh, thank you. The doctor came. He was an old geezer with a real loud voice. What is geezer? Old person. He was very old. Okay. I never read that word before. When he saw Swamiji, he said, I think the old man is praying too much. The doctor said, I think the old man is praying too much. I think he should get some exercise. He should go out for a walk in the morning. That's what the doctor said. Achyutananda. The doctor didn't know very much. He said that Swamiji had a cold. I said, what do you mean? His heart is palpitating. I don't know what to do. Does he take any whiskey? The doctor said, I don't know what to do. Does he take any whiskey? I said, he doesn't even drink coffee or tea. Oh, very good, very good. Well, I think he has just got a cold. Dwarkadhish Das. He came and took a look at the place, and you could tell right away he didn't like what he saw. He thought we were just a bunch of hippies. He couldn't wait to get out of the place, but he said, oh, he's got influenza. That was a ridiculous diagnosis. And then he said, give me my money. We paid him. The doctor left, and Swamiji got worse. The devotees called a second doctor who came and diagnosed Srila Prabhupada as having had a mild heart attack. He said that Prabhupada should at once go to the hospital. So I'll stop there. Right place to stop. So the devotees would take Srila Prabhupada to the hospital. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita ki jai. So we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 49. And the title is The Activities of the Prachetas. Prachetas. I always pronounce it. It's hard for me. Prachetas. Activities of Prachetas is quite a long description. All right, text 49. Please repeat after me. Chakshushe tva antare prapte prak sarge kala vidrute yas sarja praja ishta sadaksho deva choditaha chakshushe tva antare prapte chakshushe tvantare prapte prak sarge kala vidrute prak sarge kala vidrute yas sarja praja ishta yas sarja praja ishta Sadaksho Daiva Choditaha Chakshushe Tva Antare Prapte Prak Sarge Kala Vidrute Yasa Sarja Praja Ishta Sadaksho Daiva Choditaha. Chakshushe Tva Antare Prapte Parak Sarge Kala Vidrute Yas Sarja Praja Ishta Sadakshodaiva Choditaha Chakshushe Tva Antare Prapte Prak Sarge Kala Vidrute Yas Sarja Praja Ishtaha Sadakshodaiva Choditaha Chakshushe Tva Antare Prapte Prak Sarge Kala Vidrute Yas Sarja Praja Ishta Sadakshodaiva Choditaha. Please repeat. Chakshushe, named Chakshusha, to but Antare, the Manvantara, Prapte, when it happened, Parak, previous, Sarge, creation, Kala Vidurute, destroyed in due course of time, Ya, one who, Sasarja, created, Prajaha, living entities, Ishtaha, desirable, Sa, he, Daksha, Daksha, Daiva, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Choditaha, inspired. Translation and purport by His Loving Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. His previous body had been destroyed, but he, the same Daksha, inspired by the Supreme Will, created all the desired living entities in the Chakshusha Manvantara. Please repeat after me. His previous body had been destroyed, but he, the same Daksha, inspired by the Supreme Will, created all the desired living entities in the Chakshusha Manvantara. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 8:17, Sahasrayuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Jana. Translation of this verse. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his night. Brahma's one day consists of 1,000 cycles of the 4 yugas. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. In that one day, there are 14 manvantaras. And out of these manvantaras, this Chakshusha mantra is the sixth manvantara. The various manus existing in one day of Lord Brahma are as follows. 1. Swayambhuva Manu. 2. Swarochisa. 3. Uttama. 4. Tamasa. 5. Raivata. 6. Chakshusha. 7. Vaivasvata. 8. Savarni. 9. Daksh Savarni. 10. Brahma Savarni. 11. Dharma Savarni. 12. Rudra Savarni. 13. Deva Savarni. And 14. Indra Savarni. These are the 14 manus. They exist in one day of Lord Brahma. Thus, there are 14 manus in one day of Brahma. In a year, there are 5,040 manus in 1 year of Brahma, not this year, earthly. Brahma has to live for 100 years. Consequently, the total of manus appearing and disappearing during the life of one Brahma is 504,000 manus appear in life of one Brahma. This is the calculation for one universe, and there are innumerable universes. All these manus come and go simply by the breathing process of Mahavishnu, as stated in Brahma Samhita. Yasyaikanishvasita kalam athava lambaya jivanti loma vilaja jagad andanatha Vishnur mahan saiha yasya khala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The word Jagad Andanath means Lord Brahma. They are innumerable Jagad Andanaths or innumerable Brahmas. And thus we can calculate the many manus in one universe. 504,000 manus come and go. Each manu lives for, look at their age, 4,320,000 years multiplied by 71. The present Manu has already lived for 4,320,000 years multiplied by 28. All these long lifespans are ultimately ended by the laws of material nature. The controversy of the Daksha Yagna took place in Swayambhuva Manvantra period, the first Manvantra. As a result, Daksha was punished by Lord Shiva. But by virtue of his prayers to Lord Shiva, he became eligible to regain his former opulence. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Daksha underwent severe penances, tapasya, up to the 5th Manvantara. Thus, at the beginning of the 6th Manvantara, known as Chakshusha Manvantara, Daksha regained his former opulence by the blessings of Lord Shiva. Amagyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shlakaya Chakshurunirtamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutta Shrimati Mal Krishna Goswami Namya Mam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutta Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Okay. So today's verse has lots of these technical calculations of time relating to this planet Earth and also the upper planetary systems. We will discuss that later. So I'll just read the verse first and then we'll discuss some more. Chakshushe tvantare prapte praksarge kala vidrute Ya sasarja praja ishtaha sadakshodeva choditaha. Translation. His previous body had been destroyed, but he, the same Daksha, inspired by the supreme will, created all the desired living being entities in the Chakshusha Manvantara. So, yeah, today's topic is the activities of the Prachitas. And this is a conversation between Vidura and Maitreya, sage Maitreya Muni. And their conversation is going on for a few months in this canto. So, in this verse, I'll just point out some key ideas or topics coming up. First is Daksha. Who is Daksha? Daksha is a Prajapati, and Prajapati means they create population. They are progenitors. They have to multiply, human population in the world on this planet. So he is one of them, and he's a very powerful personality. He can even do Lord Brahma's job partly, like create living beings, create universes. That's what he can do. So Daksha is a Prajapati. Then it is said here, he had been destroyed. Why was he destroyed? He was killed. Why was he killed? This very important personality. We'll discuss that. Then the same Daksha was born again. He took his birth again later. And how did that happen? This was the will of Krishna. Then that happened. Krishna wanted him to come back after he went through all the problems and difficulties. And then when he came back, then he created the living entities in due course of time again. He did his job as a progenitor, as a Prajapati. And also, it's talking about Chakshusha Manvantara, and that means the different time calculations in this planet Earth, on this planet Earth, and in the upper planetary systems, the time is different when you compare our time to their time. So we'll discuss some of those technical issues, which is already been done here a little bit by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada discusses time on this planet Earth and its equivalent in Lord Brahma's planet, which is the highest planet in the material world. The highest planetary system in the material world is Lord Brahma. It's called Satyalok or Brahmalok. And the time there is different from the time on this planet Earth. And also Srila Prabhupada discusses Lord Brahma's lifespan, how long he lives, quite long, inconceivable, achintya. We cannot even think Lord Brahma can live that long. And then he discusses about the 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. And also he mentions towards the end, he mentions that how Mahavishnu's breathing does the creation and the annihilation, both. Mahavishnu, one of the 3 Vishnus, when he breathes in, all the things that has been created in the material world enter into his body, and that's annihilation or destruction of the material creation. And they stay there for some time, a long time. And then when Lord Mahavishnu breathes out, exhales, and then the creation starts again. Millions of universes float in the sky, the space. That's how this happens. And that's in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Prabhupada, towards the end of the purport, mentions a very brief discussion on the Daksha's demise, or why he was killed. So, in this verse, the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita is also discussed, entails, the whole verse entails the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. And to recall, the first one, subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is Ishvara, God. Who is God? And that's according to the Vedic scriptures, Krishna, to Bhagavan Swayam. So that is discussed because Krishna allowed rebirth of Daksha at the end of the chapter we read. No, purport. So first one is Ishvara, second one is Jiva. In this verse, lots of jivas, and not ordinary jivas like us human beings. Great jivas like Lord Brahma and all the Manus, they are being discussed in this verse. Great personalities, Daksha, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is not a jiva tattva actually, he is above. So that's been discussed, and of course the humans and the demigods, they are all discussed in this. And then the next subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is Prakriti. Prakriti means the material nature. The creation and the annihilation of the material nature is being discussed also. That comes in. The fourth subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is Kala. Kala means time. And the time on this planet Earth, as well as the time in the upper planetary system, is being discussed here. And the fifth subject matter of Bhagavad Gita is karma. Karma is also being discussed. All the activities done by these progenitors, the demigods, the human beings, of course, forget about the animal kingdom. They don't have karma. They just evolve and they become human beings in one of the story. They are just serving their karmas, so they don't worry about them. They'll ultimately come to our form and then maybe reach Krishna's dham. So forget about them, but mostly it's discussed about the humans as well as the demigods and so on, other living entities which have lots of this. So you must know about the story of Daksha. Do you remember how he was killed? Who killed him? Lord Shiva. And what is the relationship between Lord Shiva and Daksha? Daksha is Lord Shiva's father-in-law. The son-in-law killed him. Not personally, but somehow he is very instrumental in the killing of Daksha, the son-in-law. And that's the relationship. And so I will just, for our benefit, we'll just try to summarize what happened and how and why Lord Shiva tried to, kill his father-in-law. As I mentioned, Daksha is a Prajapati. Prajapati means a Manu, one of the Manus, and he is very powerful. They have immense powers, and they were holding a very important post or responsibility in the creation and maintenance of the universes. of the material world. We can say material world. There are many universes. So, in one of his reign, when he was ruling, and he was in charge, he was Prajapati. He organized a great sacrifice, yagna, and all yagnas are to please. All sacrifices are done to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he organized and invited all the great personalities who are controlling and who are part of the universe, the demigods, the Prajapatis, and the rishis and the sages. They all were invited to his place. And there was a great arena, and the yagna was, fire sacrifice was to be done in the center, and people were all seated around it. And Lord Brahma was the president. He was the presiding officer of that yagna, fire sacrifice. So, and the chief guest was Prajapati, Daksha himself was the chief guest. Everyone was seated. The Brahmanas were all seated to do the yagna. And then he had to enter. So Prajapati, Daksha, entered the arena. Because he was so powerful, his body was luminous, shining like the sun. When he entered, the brightness illumined the whole arena. And as soon as everyone saw Daksha entering the arena of Yagna, they all stood up to show him respect. It's a common practice. When we are in a hall and our chief guests like our gurus come, as soon as they enter, we all stand up. Or first, our system is first we do Dandavat, but in those places we can't do that, so we all stand up and show our respect to the chief guest. So everyone did that, but two people did not stand up and offer. They did not stand up. Who were those two people? Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. These two didn't stand up. Brahma is understood because he is the topmost personality in this material nature, is the topmost personality. So he didn't stand up. That was okay. But Lord Shiva also did not stand up. From our point of view, he's above Prajapati Daksha. But since their relationship in the material world was different, he was the son-in-law. The son-in-law was supposed to stand up and show respect. And that's how Daksha thought in his mind. So he looked around and he saw Shiva sitting and Lord Brahma was sitting. That's okay. Then he got very angry. That's why he got very angry. And he spoke very angrily. Then everyone sat down, and then Lord Brahma welcomed Daksha and welcomed all the personalities there, and then asked Daksha to sit down as well. And when he finished welcoming, and then Daksha spoke. Daksha spoke. And that's where he blasphemed of Lord Shiva. Straight in front of everyone present. He said very, very nasty words to his son-in-law, malicious words. He said he has no manners. He's supposed to be gentle and very knowledgeable. But look at him, he's just seated. And he has no respect for elders. And then he also mentioned that Lord Shiva, because Lord Brahma asked me to give my daughter to Lord Shiva, then I respected Lord Brahma's Disha and I had my daughter married to Lord Shiva. That's what he said. But Lord Shiva is unclean. He is not pure, he said. He doesn't take shower regularly. Jai Jagannath Bhagwan ki Jai. Lord Jagannath is going to closer to my place today, Manureva. So I hope I'll be able to go back and participate in Rath Yatra. So, yeah, I hope your mind is here. Otherwise, I'll be also doing this and that. It's natural. Okay, so he said because he uh, puts the ashes from the crematorium on his body and he wears the garland of skulls and bones, he is very impure. He's very impure. So these are some of the words he said to Lord Shiva. And no, others tried, they wanted to silence somehow who? Daksha, but they couldn't because he was the chief guest, he was the Prajapati, the other demigods and sages wanted to say, please calm down. But they didn't say it because Prajapati Daksha was a very powerful man, he was speaking, so they didn't disturb him. And finally, when he finished deriding Lord Shiva, he walked out of the arena. He didn't stay there to continue the yagna. And Lord Shiva also quietly stood up, went back to Kailash. He was insulted in the arena in front of all these great personalities, but he didn't say anything. He just stood up and went home. So that shows, how tolerant and gentle he is actually. Very gentle, very tolerant, very understanding. But he was also very upset. Anyone would get upset. Okay, so he went home and then Prajapati Daksha was ruling the whole material world, and then he started doing some more sacrifices. Or before that, all those demigods who were present, they completed the yagna, all the sacrifices they done, did it very nicely. Daksha was away and Lord Shiva was gone, but they completed the yagna. And then they went to Ganga, they had a bath, they bathed in the Ganga, and then from there, they went home. Daksha was ruling. And then after many, many Jai Subhadra Maharani ki Jai. I hope that's Subhadra Maharani. And that's, oh, Baldev went. Okay, yeah, always Baldev goes first to, create, make everything great for Lord Jagannath and Subhadra Maharani. Yeah. Okay, you following? So he ruled for many years, thousands of millions of years, and then he started doing some more yagnas. And what happened? And he invited all the great personalities in the universes, from different universes. Lord Brahmas, there are many. In each universe, there is a Lord Brahma. So there are many Lord Brahmas. So they were all coming with their consorts in beautiful airplanes, wearing nice clothes. And Parvati saw these people going somewhere, and then she asked some of those who were very close to them, where are you going? What's happening? Oh, we're going to Prajapati Daksha's another sacrifice. He has invited us all. Oh, she saw her sisters also going with their husbands to that yagna. And she was thinking, oh, my father didn't even invite me and my husband. Why? Doesn't matter. Maybe he forgot. So she went to Lord Shiva and asked and told him, everyone is going to this yagna, Prajapati Daksha's yagna. So please, why don't we also go and attend that function? I think my father forgot to invite us. My sisters are going, my mother is there, and I'll be able to meet them after so long. Oh, so Lord Shiva reminded her many things. He gave her a lot of instructions that if you are not invited to a place, we should not go. Unless you know that the person will be happy if you go there. If you think that person will be angry you go there, then please don't go to uninvited place. And other things there's a lot. Lord Shiva tried to instruct and advise Sati. At that time, Parvati Mata was called Sati Devi. So Sati was given a lot of instructions, but she understood it, but she still wanted to go. Jai Jagannath Bhagwan ki Jai. Jai. Wow. Mataji's ki Jai, they were able to lift Jagannath. Whoa. Lord Jagannath. And Jai. Wow. Mm, yeah. Krishna allows you to do those services anytime. All right. So Sati Devi said, please, let us go. I want to go. But Lord Shiva was hesitant even then. Then finally she got very angry with red eyes and furious looking. Sati is Durga, Kali. She showed that kind of form, and she left her home, Kailash, and started walking towards Prajapati's Daksh arena. And Lord Shiva was just staying home. He didn't go, didn't follow. But Lord Shiva's the followers, his transport is Nandishwar, the bull. He followed. And all those Lord Shiva's followers, they are different names, and most of them are ghosts and spirits. They all went with Sati to the yagna to protect her. They were worried Daksha might harm her, so they were worried. So they asked Sati to sit on Nandishwar, and protecting her, they took her to the arena. So everyone was seated like previous yagna, and Lord Brahma was there, and other demigods were there. All the great sages, rishis, and munis were there, and they were about to begin the yagna. And when they arrived in the arena, Daksha saw them, and he got very upset. He didn't even welcome his daughter, and he didn't show any love or happiness when he saw his daughter Sati there. He was very upset and angry. But Sati's sisters were there, and her mother was there, Daksha's wife. They all went and greeted Sati, welcomed, and gave cuddle to her, and gave her a place to sit, but she didn't sit down. Sati didn't sit down, and she looked at her dad, Daksha, and she was very angry at him. And he said, you insulted my husband in the previous yagna. And again, this time you didn't even invite him. He's the most auspicious. His name is Shiva. Shiva means all auspiciousness. And you called him, he's very impure. He's very pure. And you insulted him. And again, you didn't invite him. And I have come here, although he stopped me from coming. So I'm cursing you. The daughter is cursing the father here. That she gave a curse. She was very angry. I can't remember what curse she gave. And then she decided to finish her body there. What is the right word for that? So what did she? She's very powerful. She's Durga. She's Kali. She's a very. She knows yoga. So she sat down in front of that arena where the yagna was to be done in this yogic posture, and she invited the fire Agni Dev, the fiery demigod, and she meditated, and then the fire consumed her body, and she finished her life right there in front of Daksha. All the protectors of this Tati were so angry, they went and desecrated the whole arena and smashed and tried to kill the other party, means Daksha's party. You know, they harmed them, some of them killed them, and there was a fight there. Sri Naradji went to Lord Shiva immediately. Naradji was there, maybe it's not mentioned. He went to Lord Shiva and told him, Sati has given up her body, and there is a big fight there between your Ganas and Daksha's party. So Lord Shiva was very upset and very angry when he heard that his wonderful wife, chaste wife, has given up her body. He pulled out a hair from his head and threw it on the floor. There appeared a big black demon. He ordered him. The demon asked, yes, what's your command, my lord? That go and kill Daksha. So that demon was named Veerbhadra. Veerbhadra. That was the name given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Veerbhadra in few seconds was there in the arena. He tried his own weapons. He had 1,000 hands. He tried his weapons to kill Daksha, but he couldn't. His weapons didn't work. Then he saw in the yagna, there was a kind of sword that was used to sacrifice animals. He picked that sword and threw it at Daksha and beheaded him. And that's how Veerbhadra killed Daksha. And Daksha's head, and he picked the head and threw it in the fire of the yagna. And yeah, there was a big fight. And finally, after Daksha was killed, all the Lord Shiva's followers returned back to Kailash. And Daksha was dead. That's how Daksha was killed by Veerbhadra actually. But Veerbhadra was created by Lord Shiva. Okay. So, wow, that's a long story. Oh, yeah. Very nice point. I had it here. So, such a very great personality who was appointed by even the Lord himself to, maintain the universal affairs, Daksha, progenitor, Prajapati, how come he became so degraded? How come he became, we couldn't think properly, and he blasphemed Lord Shiva. How come he did that? My answer is that he became very proud of his position. He had a big position. He was very powerful. So all this name, fame, and power, many people are puffed up, and then they don't care about the people down there. It's happening. This is one of those anarthas that we all have in some little, whatever level of this power, prestige, fame. These are anarthas. They always pull us down. So we should be very careful and and try to reflect within and see are we just carry on with this? We still have this unearthers. So this was one of the main reasons why he did that. He blasphemed Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is great Vaishnava. Vaishnava Nam Yatha Shambhu is the topmost Vaishnava of Lord Krishna, a devotee of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna doesn't spare anyone who tries to blaspheme or kill his devotees, harm his devotees. So that's the reason why such a great personality fell down. And it's happening throughout the world. Those people who are in high positions in government or in organizations, so many organizations, institutions, they hold great powers, prestige, famous. But if they remain humble and serve the people nicely under the law of the country or the constitution of the institution, then that will be great. But once they try to misuse and abuse their authority, then they'll fall down one day. And that's what will happen to anyone who does that. So thank you, Mataji, for that wonderful point. Okay, I have not much time to discuss the next part, which is about the time. I'll just say a few things about the time calculation of this world and the other planet Earth and the other planetary systems, upper planetary systems. And there's another in Bhagavad Gita 8:17, Srila Prabhupada discusses in detail about the time calculation, other planetary systems, 8.17. When you go home, remember 8.17, chapter 8, verse 17. You read that, lots Prabhupada has discussed. So I'll quickly go through this, maybe in 5 minutes I'll finish it. You know about the time in Vedic scripture, in Sanatana Dharma, even the tiny time is being calculated. The tiniest time is called Kruti, which is 29 millionth of a second. 29 millionths of a second. You can't imagine, inconceivable, but that is done. So our scientists were so great, the acharyas and the rishis and the munis. That's the tiniest time, and then it goes on. Then we talk about muhurta. We have heard of the word muhurt. Muhurt is made up of 48 minutes. Brahma Muhurt, we say. So that's the early morning, I think after 4 when you wake up. That's Brahma Muhurt time, best time for devotional service. So one Muhurt is 48 minutes. Then Yama. Yama is 3 hours. Then one day is called Ahoratra. These are all Sanskrit terms. That's one day. 15 days cycle is called Paksha, like Krishna Paksha and Shukal Paksha, 15 days. And then 1 month is called Mas, you know that, like Damodar Mas. Mas means 1 month. And then it moves on. 1 year is called Varsha. Ek Varsha means 1 year, 365 days. And then the yugas start from there. The time gets bigger and bigger, from minute to huge time. So yugas, there are 4 yugas. The shortest one is this yuga, Kali Yuga, 432,000 years. After Kali Yuga is Dwapar Yuga, which is times 2, 864,000 years. And add 432 to that is Treta Yuga, which is 1,296,000 years. And add another 432 to that, it's called Satyug, Krita Yuga. It is 1,728,000 years. 4 yugas. One complete cycle of 4 yugas is called Mahayuga. That's called Mahayuga. And Mahayuga is 4,320,000 years. The 4 yugas, when they complete one cycle, is called Mahayuga. And after Mahayuga is Kalpa. And Kalpa is made up of 1,000 Brahmas day, 1,000 cycles of these 4 yugas. That's one day, and 1,000 cycle of these 4 yugas is one night. So that's 2,000 cycles of yugas make one kalpa. That's a big, big, big number. All right. And Lord Brahma lives for 4,320 million years. 4,320 million years. It's inconceivable. We can't imagine. So how powerful Lord Brahma is. And so on. So there are lots of things discussed. We will not discuss that. You can read that chapter yourself, and in the purport Srila Prabhupada has mentioned a lot. So before I conclude, the takeaways from this verse, first one is, as Tilakni Mataji has mentioned, why Daksha was killed. He became very proud, he became very powerful, and he had prestige, power, and pride. And then when that happens to a person who is holding a big position anywhere, then his fall down starts. And that's what happened. And he offended a devotee of Lord Krishna, which is Lord Shiva. And Lord Krishna doesn't forgive. He doesn't forgive those devotees. If we insult or offend a devotee of Lord Krishna doesn't forgive us. He will only forgive when the offender goes to the devotee and asks for forgiveness, and that devotee forgives him, then Lord Krishna forgives. Otherwise, Lord Krishna is so pakka in this, he doesn't forgive you. So we have to be very careful. We should not offend any devotees, or we should not offend anyone in that matter. Of devotees, you get bad karma, very bad. Your devotional, whatever you have accrued will all go down, and will become a normal person back to square one or worse. So please don't offend anyone, especially devotees. No matter what they do, and in your eyes, in your opinion, he may be wrong, but you haven't seen all the truth. So we should not offend or criticize devotees. So that's who you must take. Like Daksha criticized Lord Shiva, and finally he was, his punishment was he was killed. Lucky we are not being killed. He was killed. And they live for billions of years. And if you live for billions of years and you do all these nasty things, then what's the use of living years and years and years? No use. So our human life average life is 100 years at least. If we live nicely according to the scriptures, Ayurvedic, then we can live for even a little longer than 100 years with healthy body and healthy mind. So whatever age we have, whatever years are left to cover, this is the best time to do devotional service, bhakti yoga, and do as much as possible and purify yourselves by following the process. You all know the process. And try your best to serve Guru, Krishna, and the Vaishnavas, and create your pathway back to Godhead. We have 10 years left, 20 years left, whatever time is left. Now we should try our best to do our devotional service in the right way. So this is what our takeaways, and my conclusion is for this verse. Any comments? Well, thank you for being here, and thank you viewers on the phone. We'll stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur, Hare Krishna. Jai. So there's prasadam downstairs, go for breakfast.